And we're going to talk about the see-through group first aid kits. So first, group first aid kits in general. It's important if you're a crew or a Scouts BSA unit and you're more than an hour for medical, you need to have a well-stocked group first aid kit. And the leader resource sheet actually has the recommended list of things for you to put in that well-stocked group first aid kit. And you always need to think about how to adjust it based on where you're going or your number of scouts, those sorts of factors, but you got to have a good holder for that kit. And I tell you, there's lots of ones out there commercially available, and some of them work better than others, right? This is one I've used before with my venture crew. So it's got pockets that you can stuff things in and flip over. So it's not bad. If it gets wet, it's not particularly great. This is a canvas, it gets very soaky. So that one is why I don't use that one anymore. And then there are kits that are just bags, and I really don't like these because you can't see what's in there. So picture yourself on a hillside in the rain, in the dusk. And if a first aid kit holder is not going to work in that condition, then don't take it. And something like this is going to be terrible. You're going to be pulling stuff out, and it's going to be sliding all over. So what we finally landed on, and we teach it in the Wilderness First Aid course here in Montana too, is to put together just a clear kit yourself, stock it yourself. And this is the one that we used in the Wilderness First Aid class, and I am going to show you how to make it. This is just a rollout kit, right? So everything's just right visible right there, and there's also labels on the pocket. So it doesn't matter who's using this kit, you can very easily see what's in it. So this is one idea for a group first aid kit. I have one that's a little bit smaller for a smaller group that's called a fold over kit. So you can see it doesn't take up quite as much room. It wouldn't work for a really large unit, but it's great for a smaller unit. And this just folds out like this. And again, you can see everything, and it's grouped and it works well. The other great thing about using this is 12 gauge vinyl. It's waterproof. You know, like in this, you wouldn't want to dunk it in the river, right? So you need a dry bag if you're going to be doing that with your first aid kit. But this really provides some good level of waterproof as well as all that great see-through, and you can customize it. I'm giving you these two patterns, and I'm going to show you how you do it. But you don't have to do it exactly like this. You can change your pocket sizes, change, how big it is. It's not an exact science. The key thing is build a first aid kit that's got everything you need and that you can find, right? And one thing you always want to think about is what do you want in this first aid kit that you grab really fast, and what do you want in what you call your convenience med bag? The things like, ibuprofen or your over-the-counter medications. We provide in the leader resource sheet a really good list of those things, and they may not be an emergency, but keeping your scouts comfortable or leaders comfortable is also an important part of wilderness first aid. So consider, though, keeping that perhaps in a separate bag, and the personal first aid kit is a perfect size for setting up a convenience med bag, so you can take a look at that content as well. So again, look at the leader resource sheet, and we're going to go up to a craft studio here. We're going to cut to that in a minute. I'm going to show you some of the tricks to making the group first aid kit out of the 12 gauge vinyl. Hey, I'm up in the studio, and I'm going to show you some of the techniques about building these group first aid kits out of the 12 gauge vinyl. Now, there's a lighter vinyl that's an 8 gauge vinyl. I think that might rip, and so I haven't used that. There's also a heavier one, and I wouldn't use that one because I think it just adds unnecessary bulk. I landed on the 12 gauge vinyl as kind of the best solution. So the roller kit would accommodate enough supplies for a very large group. In the pockets, this is a 52-inch length by a 27-inch this way. And this is all of this is in the leader resource sheet. So you don't need to take any notes, just print that, and it's literally a walkthrough pattern. So no worries there. But you can change the pockets. You don't have to do it this way. This has worked out really well. We've been using this for about 3 years at our Wilderness First Aid aid course up in Mountain Valley, so it's pretty great. So I am going to show you a couple of tricks with the pattern and then the cutaway part. Now, when I do this, it's a lot of vinyl to work with, and it doesn't demonstrate well with the camera. So I'm showing you on a mini version, right? So it's because I know it's hard to see, right? So this, when in the pattern, this would be 52 inches long by 27 inches. And what you do is you fold it over to make your pocket. So really easy there. That's the fold line in the pattern. And then your pockets get formed, because what you do is wherever you want to do a pocket, and of course when I do this, I take a ruler of some kind. You just mark with your Sharpie like that. So I'm going to make some pockets here on this little mini first aid kit. Who knows what I'll use it for? But you mark your pockets along the length, like that, however many you want. And then when you come to the end, you don't go all the way to the end, because you need a flap for closing the first aid kit. So in the pattern, you'll leave about 4 inches of vinyl. So you do that. So then I am going to go sew this, and then I'll show you what to cut off on the flap and how to attach. Right, this is the mini roller kit that I'm sewing on, and I'm going to show you a couple tricks here. So if you have a let's call it Teflon foot or a clear foot for your sewing machine, you would want to use it. It'll glide over the vinyl better. If you just have a metal foot, that's okay, but you want to make your presser foot not press down as hard, or it kind of is grabby. Plastic will work okay too, but if you've got this, that's great. So you're going to set for a zigzag stitch on your sewing machine, and then you're going to get going. Now I've started on this, so I'm going to do another row here, and I use my foot, and I'm going to go back here to the start of the next row there, put the foot down. I am just doing a basic zigzag stitch, sorry about that. And you know, stitch along, there we go, it's not that tough. Of course, when you do it on the big kit, it'll be a little longer. Backtrack at the beginning of the pocket, and then that's it. And you just keep going. Now, to hold the vinyl, you don't want to slip around, there's a couple things you can do. You can use clips like this. There's also a super handy gadget, it's called a Sew Tite. If you have any quilter help you, they may have this. This is a little company in Montana, and it's SEWTITES. You can look it up. It's a magnet that holds stuff together when you're sewing or crafting, so it's just very handy. So you're going to sew on all the seams that you marked on that roller kit, and I'll show you what you do there at the end. Now this is a fold over kit, and it's a slightly smaller kit, and it folds over, so it's a flatter in packing. This is actually my kit, and it just folds right out. The elastic is attached. You don't have to do that. I just like it because then I can't lose it. That's convenient. So that it again folds over. The difference between the roller kit and this is you don't have this flap. So what you're taking is you're taking a piece of vinyl, and the dimensions on that one is going to be 35 inches by 18 inches, and then you fold over this way on your vinyl to make 2 pocket sides, and you leave a 3-inch area in the middle where that kit folds over. So you're going to do that, and then I think it works really well to have on one side of the kit one larger pocket, and I'll show you that on mine. But you're going to draw your lines, one right at the edge like that, one about 2/3 of the way in, and then one at the end. And then on the other side, I just did 3 equal pockets because that worked out pretty well. 3 6-inch pockets were like that. 1, 2, 3, and then a sew line. Right. The reason I did one larger pocket is this is a fairly convenient way to handle a SAM splint, as well as these roller gauzes, which actually take up some bulk in a first aid kit, right? You've got to have it. You've got to have your horse tape. You have to have an ace bandage. But if you double fold, not just double, actually four-fold your SAM splint, actually creates a nice depth. Then you just put all that really bulky stuff around the SAM splint, and then you pack stuff everywhere else. And then this kit just goes like that, folds over, and you put some elastic around it. So I'm going to go up and sew the mini version over the sewing machine so you can see what that looks like. And let's go take a look. Right, this is the mini fold over kit. All right, so we did it over there, and I'm drawing the lines. And again, this is even easier. You're just gonna sew along those seam lines. That's all there is to it. And just remember to back stitch at the pockets. And you want to make sure to have a seam line along both of the outsides. And that's it on this one. All right, here's the mini flip over, fold over kit. All right, so there's nothing to cut away on this one, so that's different. I just want to show you where you attach the elastic. All right, so you want to attach the elastic so it's near the two end flaps, and you just attach the elastic along one of the seams that you already sewed. So if you look at this one, like the big one right here, there's just a piece of elastic, and it is sewn across that one seam. Really easy. So that's it for the fold over kit. So I hope you make these group first aid kits for your unit, no matter what style you use. And I also did include in the leader resource sheet the actual labels that you can print out to put on your first aid kits. So be prepared, have fun, and thanks for watching.